Hello and welcome to the very last episode of Trendz Travel for the year 2018. The brand new year is only hours away, so I do hope that you have all those New Year's resolutions written out and ready to go. Right now, though, Nadia takes us to Melville, where she tried all things hot and spicy, sweet and sticky, and even smoky. I'm talking about chicken wings.
Situated in the heart of Melville is 27 Boxes, home to the trendy spot known as Have Wings. Like the name suggests, this eatery is popular for making the most delicious chicken wings. Rumor has it that wings served here are succulent, so full of flavor you just want more. So we had to check it out for ourselves. Wings are loved all over the world. They can be enjoyed as a quick snack or as a meal. They are usually deep-fried or oven-baked, but here they prepare them over an open flame, which I guess adds to the flavor. Alright, so what have you prepared for me today?
No, today we've prepared for you lemon and coriander, extra hot and smoky, sweet and sticky, and oriental. The oriental is the one with the sesame seeds. So oriental is basically a mixture of spices, gingery, vinegary. You know, if you're more of an Indian person, food you save there.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I've got these 4 flavors for you: lemon, coriander, extra hot and smoky, sweet and sticky, and oriental.
All right. So which one should I start with?
My personal favorite is lemon, but
this one.
Yeah, our popular flavor that everyone loves. It's sweet and sticky.
The sweet and sticky.
The sweet and sticky, extra hot and smoky, All the flavors are nice, but my personal flavor it's lemon. So I think
we'll start with the lemon.
I think start with the lemon.
Okay. So do I dip with the sauce, or do I?
It's
just
really up to you. Can you please just have it as it is, and then we'll sauce it later if you feel like there's a need to. But the sauces are nice. You have a spicy mayo sauce. We prep it ourselves in the kitchen. So
it's freshly squeezed lemon.
It's freshly squeezed lemon, and yeah, of course, there's some lemon juice, honey, sugars. There's a few things that we add, a few ingredients that we add to make the flavor gourmet.
So now let's talk about the shop. Why wings?
Everyone loves wings. It's just a quick snack that you can have to go, from children to our grannies. If you want to make them happy, let them have wings. But we specialize in chicken wings, different flavors of gourmet grilled wings. And yeah, we pair them with salads and dips, but mainly wings, because no one is doing wings. There's no, you can't point one restaurant that they specialize in chicken wings. You know that there's restaurant that specialize in your pizzas, and you can go to your
or the whole chicken
ribs or whatever. But for us, there was no one who was doing wings at that time when the concept came. It was 2010. Even though we've opened a year ago, which was 2017 July. So it's an old concept, about 8 years from 2010.
Okay.
So no one was doing wings then, so that's why wings. Okay, wings. So how do we do wings? People now are tapping into a healthy lifestyle. Then we have to be healthy. That's the other thing that makes us unique. Our wings are just not wings. They're tasty, very tasty.
Very.
And very healthy. Very halal at the same time.
Well, he said his wings are very healthy, so I didn't feel too bad for overindulging. The extra hot is really hot, and the different flavors are also amazing. All in all, a 10 out of 10. Wow. Well, I'm licking my fingers. Guess that's a sign that your wings are very nice.
No, thanks. No, thanks.
Now, if you couldn't make your way down to the coast this year but have an absolute need to feel the sea sand between your toes, well then Silver Star's got you covered with their annual beach festival. It's great fun for both adults and kiddies. The West is once again gearing up to become a holiday paradise. So much to do, so little time. For the 4th year running, the square is transformed into a sandy amusement park with beach fun for the kids.
lucky. Are you ready? All right, so musical ball is the name of the game, boys and girls. This is how it's going to work. All right, I'll explain it.
We have lots and lots of amazing stuff to do. You can bring out the whole family. We have volleyball on the beach, on the sand. We have hula hoop. We have ice cream competitions. We have fun for the young, the old, everything that you can just imagine we're having here. We have so much fun planned out for the whole entire December, right up until January.
The whole family can spend the day in the sun and sand, surrounded by a myriad of entertainment. An entrance to the beach is absolutely free, with full access to all of the fun from the minute your feet touch the sand.
We have a big sky rider. It's right up in the front of our entrance. And yeah, lots of fun. Rodeo fun as well.
The Sky Rider is rated the #1 amusement park attraction in South Africa. It is a spectacular family sky ride experience, never to be forgotten. And of course, we absolutely had to give it a try. It starts very unthrilling, taking off slowly as though it were just a kiddie's ride as it sluggishly ascends. And then, before you know it, you are flying high above the treetops with the parking lot looking a lot like something from Minitown. And added to that, you are spinning in a suspended swing. Amazing. Yep, it certainly was a fun day out. Now, I don't know if New Year's resolutions are a thing anymore, but if they are, and if you have any, why not let us know what they are on our social media platforms. That's at Trendz on SABC using the hashtag SABC News.
We pride ourselves on being impartial as well as independent. On the agenda, we basically break down the stories of the day.
Give the viewer the assurance that we will cover every side of the story.
Tear gas has now been also thrown at the protesters.
We are peacefully marching and the police is stopping the people. They're hitting the people. We are spraying the people with pepper spray. These people are supposed to protect us, but they are against us.
We are pushing them back by using the rubber bullets because we cannot allow them to block the roads and damage other people's property.
Quite important to bring on board all sides and hear what everybody has to say about a story, especially being the public broadcaster.
All in all, we basically take the news agenda of the day forward.
Welcome back to Trendz Travel. Now, 2018 has been a big year for Kwesta, having collaborated with 19 of South Africa's biggest artists, as well as picking up 6 of the African Hip Hop Music Awards. He shows no signs of slowing down, and we caught up with him on the set of his latest music video, which features US sensation rapper Rick Ross.
The K1 God has done it again. He partnered up with the globally recognized Brew for the 192 Countries campaign. The campaign gives South Africans a chance to experience traditions and cultures of the globe's most favorite cities.
It's dope, man, that a big brand partnered up with like a guy from Katlehong, right? That's like, it's unheard of. It's like, it's weird, you know, but shout out to them for just the foresight in seeing things like that and seeing value in what we do, you know. I mean, right now we have like the world's talent, like a Rick Ross and a Rich Homie Kwan and a Questa. These talents belong to the world, more so maybe the Ross and the Rich Homie Kwan than a Questa, but they still saw the value in doing all of that and doing it with me. So, I mean, it's great. It's great. It's great to know that the one thing that you don't need anybody to convince you to drink is also backing you in this sort of way.
All I get is money, talking 100, 100, 100.
Questa seems to have a thing with the sounds coming from Maybach Music Group. Last year, he dropped the ever-blazing hit track Spirit with international rapper Wale. Now, he just released a banger with the founder of the record label, Rick Ross.
Gorilla or grizzly, landing, let's get it. On the way to Surulere, let's get it, let's get it.
The MMG people have been very nice, just generally, and easy to talk to and easy to collaborate with, you know. So that's why it seemingly seems like it's only them. But there's a bunch of other people I'm working with, you know. It's just in time things will reveal themselves, you know. But yeah, I miss what MMG is doing. I miss with their artists, you know, and I'm a fan, you know. What went into this is nothing that went into any other song. Like, I didn't approach this like any other song I've done. It's a slightly different sound from what people might know me for, you know. But the content doesn't change, you know. And yeah, I mean, the whole point of it all is to challenge yourself, you know. It would have been easier to kind of stick to one thing and go, let me listen to Spirit, let me over-listen to it, and then let's try redo it with Ross, but without calling it, you know, that would have been an easier thing to do because there's a template of the song. But with this, like, we just decided to go from the very first, you know, till the last word is just stuff that is created fresh from, you know, just being, you know, and also the usage of who Java made it big, right? The sample, right? It's on Fruity Loops, actually. It's like everyone can use it and things, but Java made it huge, and we kind of borrowed into that also. So that's to represent the South African, you know. That's to make sure we could say, regardless of all the respect I might have for any artist I work with, what needs to be represented is me. You know, a lot of me needs to come out in the song, and that's being South African. So hence, when you listen to the song, you gotta feel like I'm represented as a South African. I feel like I'm there in that joint.
And just like he did with Wale, he brought out Rick Ross to his hometown Katlehong in the East Rand of Gauteng to shoot the visuals of their collaboration.
This Questa thing doesn't matter without Katlehong. It really doesn't. It's just another guy who raps. But how I grew up and who I was brought up around and where I grew up, you know, all those things are the things that build Questa, and all those things factor up into one thing, Katlehong, you know. So a lot of people keep saying, yo, I like how you giving back to the hood. I'm really not. It's like, you know, I would put the hood on the map. The hood put me on the map. It's really just exposing our hood culture and values to the rest of the world. I mean, if you got a song with a guy like Rick Ross, a lot of people are watching, you know. But now, if you can control what they see and choose it, you know, then I choose to show them Katlehong. You know, I choose them to show them my backstory. I choose to show them my hood, you know, and how I came up. You know? So that's the whole thing about it. And yeah, and I'm also stubborn, so I'm not going to change. It's like, it's just what I'm going to do.
From a record label owner to the other, one can only imagine what these two moguls have in the pipelines.
I need to get him to sign TLT and Marco, you know. Like, yeah, I need to get him to do that, those sort of. But I mean, there's always open conversations, or there's an opportunity for the conversation about how we expand. You know, MMG is already a big brand in America and things like that. You know, and the rest of the world, I guess. You know, but maybe the expansion in Africa could be through Rap Life. Who knows? You know what I mean? And maybe Rap Life's expansion to the world could be through MMG. You know, so it's generally just respecting what each other does and hopefully working towards a similar goal.
2018 seems to have been a very successful year for Kwesta. His voice was blasting the airwaves. The K1 God was featured on 19 songs across all genres.
The house, the dance parts, the Fed Cook and Bauta, the Moby Dicks, because it's like, it's not traditional rap stuff. It's like, and I can't dance, so it was kind of challenging, and it was fun to make though. It was really dope to make the dance stuff and go away from the rapping stuff.
Those fruitful partnerships and collaborations saw him bag 6 awards at the 2018 South African Hip Hop Awards, including Best Video, Hustler of the Year and Song of the Year. He is already set for 2019 with the 2 new international singles that will be hitting the airwaves early in the year.
Yo, what up? It's your boy Kwesta, the car. Except it's festive season, a time for fun, a time for family, and a time to travel, you know. But those things don't happen if you don't do them safely. You know? Don't drink and drive, you know. Don't. Just for you to be able to enjoy this thing, you got to take care of yourself and take care of the people around you. So just make sure you're alive for it, so you can experience it. It's actually a very easy thing to do. Just make sure you're alive for it, which means you will do the right things to make sure that you're okay, you know. But to have a very safe and festive season, you got to take care of yourself. So it's on you. Take care of yourself.
Coming up after the break, we'll take you further up the continent, so don't go anywhere.
This is a space for every woman in South Africa.
I want to speak to the women who cannot walk a kilometer in this country without looking over their shoulders, without being groped or harassed.
I was not born like this. In 2011, I got stabbed by a boyfriend.
How many centimeters? How many centimeters long is the political will to end the scourge of violence against women, against children?
I was locked up in the room for 2 weeks.
There are measures, there are laws, there are policies. But these policies and measures and laws do not speak to these lived realities.
We must fight the culture of gender-based violence.
This is where young men must be taught that women are not their footballs. This is where young men must be taught to respect women.
Buildings, submerged homes and devastated families.
Biggest earthquake in here.
Their homes and buildings moved like boats.
Big shake, and I ran as fast as I can.
These are the satellite images depicting the area before the disaster.
The ground is like a wave.
I've never seen anything like this in my life.
It is unbelievable. You can actually smell the stench of dead bodies around.
The National Hurricane Center said earlier on Tuesday that Michael was a Category 1 storm with sustained winds of up to 150 kilometers per hour. Residents were implored to get out of harm's way ahead of life-threatening waves, winds and rains. Flash flooding over the weekend caused 13 deaths in Central America after Michael formed off the coast of northern Honduras.
On Media Monitor, we leave no stones unturned.
We don't have shared principles when it comes to media freedom.
From the integrity of journalists to accusations of fake news.
If anybody comes with an alternative view, he starts referring to it as fake news.
We also look at the safety of our journalists while covering stories on the field.
This is something that we're faced with daily. From journalists who say they've been physically or verbally attacked by community members.
Watch Media Monitor Sundays at 9 a.m.
Storytellers from across Africa came together in Kenya, Nairobi to create a modern set of fables or folk tales dealing with issues such as war, greed, nepotism and even fame and materialism.
Tonight is the night of the feast. Tegli.
Why don't chickens fly? When did the moon learn to be kind? Answers to these and other mysteries were revealed through the modern fables and folk tales told at the Reimagined Storytelling Festival in Nairobi, Kenya. Dozens of raconteurs from across Africa and beyond gathered to bring alive a variety of tales and breathe life into a tradition they say is dying out. Africa has a rich tradition of oral history and storytelling. Although written history has existed for over centuries in Africa, knowledge and morals have mostly been transmitted through oral tradition and performance.
Our pasts are important to me, our histories are important to me, and I kind of talked about that a bit in the story that I told on stage, that they connect us to our memories, our ancestry, and they guide us. You know, they teach us on how to live, how to be good people, how to interact with other people, how to interact with the environment. How do we do any of these things? Stories are the ones that give us the guide, that anchor us.
In the age of smartphones and Netflix, where people are increasingly passive consumers of entertainment, the art is gradually being lost, according to Maimono Jalo, who organized the one-day festival.
In fact, I destroyed their homes, I poisoned their waters.
I started this journey about 3 years ago, and I traveled to various small villages to look for East African folktales, and nearly everywhere I went, people had no recollection of their own stories. And the generation who used to tell these stories are now in their 80s. So for me, it was really important to see how do we preserve not only the stories, but in particular, the culture of telling stories orally. Because I think it's very different from watching a television program or reading a book. But to have that storyteller in front of you with an audience to be able to interact is something very precious that we're in danger of losing.
With nods to the giants of African culture like Thomas Sankara, Fela Kuti and Ama Ata Aidoo, the stories address issues shared across African societies like corruption, greed, war, nepotism and the obsession with fame and materialism. Accompanying several performances was the traditional kora player Sanjeli Jobate, who hails from a griot's family in Gambia. They have kept alive oral stories in West Africa for over 7 centuries. So why don't chickens fly? Because chickens squandered all the wealth given to him as a king of the sky. When the other birds discovered his malfeasance, he was banished from the air and became man's favorite food. Dazzled onlookers took in all the sparkling lights in the first ever New York City Winter Lantern Festival at the Snug Harbor Cultural Center and Botanical Garden in Staten Island.
This is like a traditional Chinese lantern festival. Usually we celebrate the Chinese New Year during the January or February. And this year we bring the lantern festival from China to New York City to give the best wishes to all of the New Yorkers here.
Sprawled over 7 acres, the festival features cultural Chinese performances like lion dancing, a martial arts show, and more than 3,000 handmade lanterns with 40 installations lit up with LED lights.
I've been living in New York like 4 years, and I went to a lot of festivals. There's a lot of diverse cultural festival, but I found that we don't really have a really like Chinese-based Chinese cultural events here. So my partner Hao Kun and I decided to bring a lantern festival here. All of the lanterns here, they're all handmade.
The displays soar up to 30 feet and are organized into 7 zones: Animal Kingdom, Chinese Lights, Holiday Zone, Light Tunnel, Panda Paradise, Sea World and Wonderland.
The Lantern Festival is like a 2,000-year-old festival. We use 27 days. It's a big project. The Lantern Festival at the beginning is just a kids carrying the paper lanterns, but after it develops, now we can see very huge displays and structures here.
Festival producer Conglin Mao said that in his 4 years of living in the US, he had never seen a large-scale Chinese lantern festival and wanted to bring the 2,000-year-old tradition to New York.
Now it's all LED based. It's more, safer and it's more beautiful than before.
Conglin Mao said in China it took 200 artisans more than a month to make the lanterns, which was then shipped in 19 shipping containers from China to New York. Organizers then flew 20 specialists from China to set up the installation, which took another 27 days.
It really lights up the evening, and it makes you feel kind of warm inside.
I think it's awesome. I think it's a great way to get people to the botanical gardens in the winter. I mean, who would have thought? It's like basically your winter version of a botanical garden. You got all the flowers, all the colors.
It was absolutely amazing. The lighting, the spectacular acting and dancing. It was fabulous.
Traditionally, Chinese lantern festivals are celebrated annually on the first full moon night or 15 days after the Lunar New Year. But Mao said it made more sense to hold the lantern festival during the American holiday period. The festival runs until the 6th of January.
And that's all we have for you this year on Trendz Travel. Do remember, in all of the New Year celebrations, do remember to drink responsibly, drive safe, and arrive alive. From me and the Trendz Travel team, it's Happy New Year. Until next time.
We pride ourselves on being impartial as well as independent. On the agenda, we basically break down the stories of the day.
Give the viewer the assurance that we will cover every side of the story.
Tear gas has now been also thrown at the protesters.
We are peacefully marching and the police is stopping the people. They're hitting the people. We are spraying the people with pepper spray. These people are supposed to protect us, but they are